when we're at the show. We talk a lot about life and all that sort of stuff. Um, what is like the legacy that you want to leave behind for MAGS Custom Rods and in this fishing industry? What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Hook One Pod. Hey, we're here in the studio, and we are pumped to be back. We've got an awesome guest with you guys this week. We've got a familiar face with you. We've got Pat from MAGS Custom Rod, and we've got a banger of a show planned for you guys. What's up, Pat?
What's going on? How's it going down there in the southern end?
Not too bad. Temps are dropping. It's starting to feel like actually feel like fall, and the fishing's finally picking up. So life's good.
Yeah, it's crazy up by me. People are thinking ice fishing, ice fishing, ice fishing. So,
Yeah, and speaking of ice fishing, you got some shows coming up, eh?
yeah, I leave. Day and a half. I leave for the first one Thursday morning, 5 a.m. I'll be on the road to South Dakota for the first one of the year.
Boy, oh boy. Well, we'll touch on those here in a little bit. But what we really wanted to get you on here for was, you know, you're one of our top selling rods in the store. Well, you are our top selling rod in the store, and a lot of that has to do with the small business aspect of thing and supporting local. And I really just wanted to talk to you a little bit and just talk about what MAGS Custom Rods is, what kind of makes you guys different, and it's the best thing you could do is sit down with the owner of the company, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's look forward to talking about all that good stuff today.
Yeah, man. So for those that may have not seen the last episode or a couple episodes that we've done with you, I love hearing the story. Our customers and our listeners really love hearing the story, but what kind of inspired MAGS Custom Rods? Like where did this thing begin and what was the inspiration behind it? Because you've created a monster.
Yeah, so I had zero intentions of ever even starting anything or ever like trying to get into it. I was a fishing nut and a charter captain, and I just had an idea one day to build a fishing pole, and just for personal. I'd never had any intentions of ever selling them or ever doing anything with it. I just wanted a nice fishing pole for myself, and I would use it with buddies, and they would try it. They like it, so I'd build them for buddies, and like after 6 months, I kind of started to travel and I went to a couple rod building conventions just to kind of learn how to do it correctly from a few different people. And then I kind of just threw my little twist on it. And at this point, it was still just supposed to be a little bit of hobby on the side. And then it kind of just snowballed into building them for buddies and then their buddies and then customers from the boat. And then it just kind of, after about a year of doing that, I'm like, man, I'm gonna go get my LLC and just if I sell them, I could do it legally, and just figured I could
Right.
maybe build a few here and there, make a little bit of side cash, and boy, was I wrong. It took off, and honestly, since the day I started to sell them, I've been so busy. It's kind of just pretty much taken over my life, which in a good way. I still am working on a balance with everything else, but everyone has to work. You might as well, if you're capable of it and you have the opportunity to do something that you love, you might just have to work a little bit harder, which is it's so much easier to work extremely hard at something when you enjoy it. But when you have to go into work and do something that you don't like, it's tough, because I mean, my dad had a flooring business and I did flooring for a little bit and I half-assed it. I was always the lazy one in the family, and now I work more than anyone in my family. So you just have to have the right thing, and you could turn a lazy person into a workaholic. And I just love what I do, and I want to make sure that I solidify my job and my spot in the industry. And, there's a lot of competition out there. So if I don't stay on the gas, there's other options for people, and I just try to keep her going. And I do have people relying on me for jobs. I employ like 13 people now, and maybe even more. And I have a heart too. It's not like I'm just all money, money, numbers, numbers. No, like I care about everyone in this shop, and I've never had to lay someone off, and I don't. It sucks to do that. Yeah, they'll probably find another job, but still, that's their life. They work to make money for their family, and if I've never had to do it, so I want to make sure I can always keep work for people.
Yeah. Yeah, man, and that's kind of the beauty of small business is like obviously it's numbers, numbers, numbers to keep the business going. But the relationships you make with the people that you work with is like the best thing in my opinion. And it seems like you've got a really good crew and a growing crew, dude. Like I said, you created a monster. You could tell me I'm wrong, but I think this has been your busiest year yet. I've been seeing your stuff everywhere, and it's been really cool to see where it's gone since the first time I went in your shop, and it was just the one room, and now you own that whole building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's this year. Normally we used to have a slowdown in the summer. This year, of course, we slowed down compared to show season, but we've been busy. I didn't even give nobody days off, and usually in the summertime I'll give some guys some days off just because we're slow, but not this year. And kind of went from summer a little slowdown, but then fall was busy, and then it's like crazy. It's already November 4th. Like now, it's the busiest time of the year for me up until May. So the next 5, 6
Yeah.
months are going to be super busy. I just took like 5 days off. I wasn't at work for 5 days, and when I got back, I was like, holy shit! I felt like a month. Like I just had so much stuff that I just had to get done and do, and now I'm going to a show to be gone for another 4 or 5 days. So it's like, all right, it's about to happen. But I like it being overly busy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's better than being slow, right? It's better than the alternative.
Yeah. And it's taken
So
me, this is year 8, to stay a little bit busier in the summer. And I think it's just from growing and just kind of promoting and getting your stuff out there. But every year besides this year, I was like, July, I could fish 5 days a week. We were just dead, dead, dead slow. So this year to be busy, it's easier financially to keep everyone on payroll and just keep building stuff. And so, yeah, just got to figure it out day by day.
that's it, brother. One day at a time. One day at a time. Um, One thing that I really wanted to kind of talk about is like what makes Mag's rod different than a production style rod. So like obviously I've been in the shop, I've seen it, I get to use them on a daily basis. I also get a bunch of rods through the store that I get to kind of trial and use, and I get samples of. And there is, when you use a custom rod, there's a clear difference. But help explain to some of these guys like what makes that so different? Like what makes your rod? What sets you guys apart?
Yeah, in my opinion, you could just grab a rod and tell if it's well built or not. It's just one of those things when you're familiar enough with something. If you're a fisherman and you just pick up a rod, you're like, oh, this is nice, and you could just tell on some of the lower end stuff and how it's built and what it's built with. You could just tell it's not a high quality rod, and big thing is you got to start with a good blank. That's like your foundation, and then the components you put on there is a big deal too. But it also has to be done correctly. Like if you build a rod that's unbalanced, it's going to feel extremely uncomfortable. People love lightweight, but balanced is more important than weight, in my opinion. Because if you could have a super light rod, if all the weight's in the tip, it's going to feel heavy, and it's just going to be an uncomfortable rod. And then just, a smaller crew like we have, every step is hand done. It's like a slower process so that everything is flex tested throughout every single build process. And it goes through, 20 sets of hands. And If there's an issue with it, we're going to find it. And I want to make sure if it's going to break, I want it to break here. Or if there's an issue with something, I want it to happen here, especially with how expensive shipping is. I want to make sure I get it taken care of now. And, we're a custom small shop. So if you call and say, hey, man, I need my handle adjusted 2 inches shorter here and longer here. Like, we can do that stuff. There's really not many companies where you're not going to call a bigger company and be like, hey man, can you make a handle shorter for me? They're going to be like, no, you get what you get. Like with us, you can call,
Yes.
and if you want 2 inches shorter rod, handles, like colors obviously, and all the custom options there, but just the important stuff performance wise is I want this handle, I want a longer handle, I want this kind of handle, or this kind of cork, this kind of whatever grip you want. Just those minor details go a long way, especially if there's a lot of picky fishermen out there and they want their stuff a certain way. And I get it, you're spending that kind of money, you want to get exactly what you want. And that's something that we can do that most companies don't want to do. They can, they just don't want to do it because they're going to sell enough rods to make money anyway. Me, I have to cater and I have to do a good job because the competition in the industry is, shoot, it's everywhere. So if you don't stand out, you're going to get ran over. And I like winning. I
Yeah.
like being busy. I don't like getting ran over. That sucks. So yeah,
No.
you got to kind of evolve and make it happen.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's always been really impressive. I mean, I even hear from my customers, they'll come in and they'll buy a rod and then they want to get one custom made. And whether my customers want to cut it 5 foot short or put a different handle on it or do
Hmm.
something like that, you guys always deal with them. And again, you guys are getting busier. So, like, your manager's constantly dealing with emails and messages, and you're constantly dealing with emails and messages. Like, we always talk about, it's not often you can reach out to a company and get directly to the owner. It's like you're handling a lot of that stuff. But at the same time, it seems like the customers can still, you hit it right on the head. They're going to spend that kind of money. So you want to make sure they get what they're asking for, right?
Hmm. Yeah, and we get a lot of customers too that they're surprised when they call the shop and I answer. It's like I'm the owner, so they're kind of like caught off guard that I'm actually in the shop. It's like, oh yeah, I'm still getting after it. I'm not just playing around. Like I enjoy being here, and seems like things just go a little smoother when I'm here and more efficient. So I do like to be here and make sure things are flowing nicely. Whatever we need to order, keep everything stocked up, and um, but yeah, people get caught off guard when they answer and it's me. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
or wintertime, I'm gonna be here every day. So
Yeah. If you're not there, you're on the road. Um, What
yeah.
is something I have my personal opinion, I'll give to you first, but what is like a little I like to get a little nerdy with this, right? So like what's a technical difference that you guys do with your rods that would set you apart, say, from some of your competitors? My answer would be the MAGS blank. You're not tying a St. Croix blank. You're not tying any rain shadow blank. It's a MAGS blank that's specific to like what you guys do and what you use. But in your opinion, what is some like technical differences in your rod that you think kind of set it apart?
So when I first started, I just built on whatever blanks I could get, that whatever I felt good, and once I got to the point to where I could start designing and doing my own stuff, because I am a fisherman my entire life. I've been fishing for 35 years, and I've done a lot of different styles of fishing. I've dedicated my entire life to fishing, so and I do have the connections to where it's like, oh, hey, I want to design a hair jig rod. I have a connection with one of the best hair jig fishermen in the country. I want to design a jigging rod like with you. You guys are solely the who's helped me design that vertical jigging rod, and I think I got it close at first, and then a little fine tuning, and that's kind of how it's worked with me. And you design a blank is like I said, the foundation, and if you can get that right and put some nice components on there, you're gonna have a good final product, especially with when you throw in some labor and some people that actually care about what they're doing. Like when you go, I actually just went overseas and I went to a world wholesaler show. Not to really, I just had the opportunity to go there and tour some of the biggest factories in the world and just pretty much a free trip overseas. And I went to one of the biggest fishing shows in the world and it was insane. But I did go to these factories when you got anywhere from 200 to 1,000 people in a factory, and it's like they don't care about that rod. They just want to hurry up, get it done, and on to the next. And that's just not how it is here. And I'm sure like my guys really don't care, but they're gonna do a good job and they're gonna make sure it's done correctly. It does, and having your own specific blanks too is that's when we really started to get busy. Is when we had started to come out with different stuff and stuff where you couldn't get anywhere else. Like if I get a lot of people, hey, can I buy your blanks? It's like, nope. If you want a mags rod, you got to buy one complete, and you can strip it and do what you want to do with it. But I'm not in the business to sell components, even though I could do well doing that. But no, I'm I want you to buy the final product, and I take pride in it. And now we stock over 60 models of rods at all times,
Jeez.
and it's all our own
I don't know how
blank.
you keep up, dude.
So yeah, it's a
I
lot.
don't know.
It's a lot. You forget one little thing, and it holds everything up.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that little 6'2" bad boy, because we sell an absolute shitload of them at the store. They are my favorite vertical jigging rod. Obviously, I'm not just saying that because you're on the call, but I tell guys that. I absolutely love how it handles weight anywhere from a half ounce up to a 1 ounce. I love how fast the hook sets are on them. I love the backbone when you got a big fish that's fighting you right under the boat. You got enough give where the rod can actually do the work, but you've got enough backbone where that fish isn't going to kind of beat you up. Has the 6'2", has that jigging rod been a surprise to you the last couple of years or what?
Oh yeah. Recently, I'd say, what was it, 3 years ago where we started to dabble, or was it four? I think it was three, right?
We are, what is it, 2025? So we've been open. So yeah, it's been about 3 years because I didn't have them the first year I was there. So I picked my first one up in 2021 and I started using it with you. And then I got a couple for my charter boat. And then my clients wanted to start buying some. So I believe it was in 2020, 2022, 23, 24. So yeah, in 2022, I bought my first 6 from you. And I think this year we sold over 100.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've gone to Novi 3 times. This will be my fourth year. So yeah, I was 22 when I really started to dabble a little bit. But that first year, I only sent you maybe what, 10 or 20?
Yeah. Yep.
I went from 10 or 20 to dabble to like 40 and then to like 100 and something. Like this year was nuts. Even on my website, it went from pretty much 10, 20 rods a year to our number one selling rod year round by far. It was incredible. And that fishery down there, I had no idea what it was. I went down there a couple of times with you, but the website tells me how big that fishery and how hungry those fishermen are for something good. And yeah, there's a big market down there.
Yeah, I mean it's an animal, man. We're stuck, we're stuck in between Lake Erie and Saginaw Bay. So it's like we're stuck in between two fish factories and the river systems. Whether you're talking about St. Clair River, Detroit River, or even Saginaw River, they are the migration path of these fish. So you're getting millions of fish, especially Detroit. You're getting millions of fish that go through that system, and it's a really unique style of fishing that we do that you don't see a lot of other places. So it was fun to pair up with you. And then we kind of came out with the 510 for the guys that like the shorter stick. I mean, I'm a big 6'2" guy. I stand by that. I love the 510. I've got a few of them. Oh, you can't even see them, but they're over there. Um, but yeah, to be able to work with you and get a really good rod at a really good price. Now, it's not a cheap rod by any means, but what I tell my guys is like you get kind of the best bang for your buck. You're spending half the price you would for a G Loomis, and in my opinion, you're getting a better product. Not to knock G Loomis, but I'm just saying there's a lot of other rod companies out there that are charging a lot more money, and for $200 you can get one of the best jigging rods I think that you could ask for.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like a lot of customers will too, because it wouldn't be our best selling rod if people didn't like it. And I have checked
Right.
out some of the rods on the market, like at shows. I'll check them out, and some of them are just so stiff to where you gotta have that happy medium, so stiff enough for a good hook, and enough tip to set the hook, but you want to have some give to it. If you have just a meat stick, you're gonna just be ripping hooks, and it's just I don't know. And you got to have the right balance.
Yeah, I mean,
Some of the rods out there are just like, holy, this is stiffer than my heavy action lake trout rod.
yeah, 100%. And for 90% of the guys that are just going out there to fill the live well, like it's fine. But if you're trying to catch bigger fish or you're really trying to focus on honing in your presentation, that was the really fun thing to work with you with is like, hey, we need a little bit more tip. We need a little bit more backbone. We need a little bit more give because you're fighting all these fish vertical. So if you got a big fish that's sitting there head banging, it's pounding its head down. You gotta have your drag will work, but you gotta have that rod that works with you. And it's not easy to find a rod that can handle up to a 1 ounce jig or more. I mean, I know guys that run ounce and a quarter on your guys' rods. I mean, I definitely don't suggest it, but I know they do. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, that goes back to kind of the technical thing we were talking about is we can kind of dial that in to be very precise, and that was a lot of fun.
yeah. The flex is a big
Still is
deal
fun.
because the way I look at it is the rod will handle the big aggressive head shakes close to the boat. The drag handles the bigger runs, and your drag's just not as quick as your rod flexing. So you gotta have a little that happy medium to where you get some flex, but you have enough power to do what you need to do with the bait and set the hook.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm sure we'll move a lot more of them this year. The custom colors were a really fun addition to the store this year. It's funny because we always joke around at the show. Sometimes too many colors is a problem because it's hard to narrow them in. But then all of a sudden you start to see guys plucking two at a time because they like the color combos. Um, so yeah, it'll be another really good year. I'm looking forward to it, my man.
Yeah, it's funny. Some guys will buy a rod just because it's their favorite color combo. Like at the show, it happens all the time. He's like, I already got three of these, but this is my favorite color, so I'm gonna pick this one up. I'm like, that sounds good to me. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna be a good year. The show is gonna be great. I can't wait. So that's my favorite show is Novi. Uh, we'll have a busy winter, and then spring's gonna be a good one too. So I feel like it's gonna fly by. I feel like we were just at the shows, and now bang, we're going into another show season.
I know, man, and I can't wait. I am really looking forward to Novi. For those of you that don't know that are tuning in, we split a booth in Novi, so you've got me on one half, Pat on the other half. We've got everything you need for touching that market. Rods, Pat carries the load with all the rods and reels that you would need. We carry all the baits that you'd need. But Novi is by
It's
far
one
my
stop
favorite
shop.
show. The people, what's that?
It's a one stop shop when you come to our booth.
Yeah, guaranteed. And my favorite thing about Novi is we get everybody in one place. Like we get all the guys there. Um, Obviously Chase is there with us. Shout out Chase. Um, he kind of started this relationship here, and we get those guys there. We get all
Chase
your guys
planted
that
that
come
seed.
down. I mean, we stay in the same hotel. It's a blast.
Yeah, Chase definitely planted that seed. Got the ball rolling with it because I was like, ain't no way. We build rods that are 7 foot and longer, and I was like 6'2". That thing's short. I'm like I got a lake trout ice rod that's that long almost. And yeah, boy, was I wrong. I mean, that's our number one
What are
selling
the
open
guys
water
asking
rod.
for
It's
now?
insane.
They're banging down the door for a 5-6er.
Whippers, 5'6", whippers. I had a guy call the other day and pick up two whippers, and yeah, no, whatever the customers want, we'll make it happen. So
That's it, man. And I think it's a testament to you guys, dude. I think, and that's why I really wanted to do this podcast. And we've got a couple other small business owners lined up to do this. But our area is very good at supporting local and supporting, the smaller guy per se. And it's just cool, man. And it's like you've taken the time to listen to these anglers and what they want and what they might need, whether it's your Green Bay market or your guys in Minnesota or your guys over here on the Great Lakes. It's like that's the beauty of this business.
yeah, no, the your area is a extremely loyal, good, solid customers. And they're not the customers that complain or whine. Like, they're solid customers and repeat customers, loyal customers. Yeah, from where you're at to, west of Detroit, it's a huge market for us. And before, we never sold anything there. Like, less than a half a
Yeah.
percent probably before. Now it's a chunk. So it's a big deal.
We're blessed, man, and we're slowly trying to crack into that bass market a little bit. If any of you bass fishermen are listening, man, we've got that stuff at the store. We've got your 610 medium light fast. We've got your 7.2s. I think we're out of the 7.6s, but like there's a really good market there too. That we kind of play around with. But yeah, we're blessed to be where we're at. Like I said, it's pretty cool just to watch this thing take off though. It's been nuts.
Yeah, no, the location that your shop is in, it doesn't get no better than that. Um, it is a bass mecca, but walleye is king, and that's the same thing
Yeah.
where I'm at. Even over here, we have amazing bass fishing too, but walleye is by far king. It's not even close, not even remotely close at all.
Yeah. For sure. And for those of you guys that can't make it out to the show to say what's up to Pat and I'm going to save these details for a couple months from now, but I think you'll be really happy to see what we've got coming on for the spring bash for our walleye tournament that we did last year. We're going to have a pretty cool partnership and something real cool going on for April 18th for the spring bash. So I'll leave you with that little cliffhanger.
Yeah, I was actually just going to ask you what was the date on that, but April 18th, that sounds like a perfect day.
April 18th, dude. But before we get to April 18th, you led me right into my next question. You've got like 11 shows, I believe, lined up. Would you be able to tell us each stop that you're going to make along the way?
We got 9 this year. So we had 7 last year. 7 or I think we
9.
added 2 this year. And nine's a lot. Um,
Yeah.
but with
Yeah.
the shipping is such a headache right now, and it's such a disaster, and the prices are going up. Like it does pay to do the shows, and even though we still do a ton of online stuff, but yeah, the shows are king. And we might even add a couple next year. Yeah, they're exhausting and it's time away from the family, but sometimes you do have to sacrifice to feed the family, and that's just one of the things. Shows are huge for our business, and got to do them. But our first stop is Sioux Falls, South Dakota, November 7th, and then we get a break. December 5th is our next one. That one's going to be in St. Paul, Minnesota. And then that next weekend, December 12th, I got a crew I'm sending to Duluth, Minnesota, and I'll be in Oshkosh, Wisconsin that week. So that's 3 shows in 9-day period, or no less than that. And then we get a little bit of a break, 3 weeks, and then we go to Novi January 8th, and then a couple weeks, and then January 22nd in Schaumburg. And then we very next weekend we go to Columbus, Ohio. It's our first time out there. So we got that one, and then the last one of the year is Grand Rapids. So we're gonna be putting some miles on here starting Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, it's it's crazy what you guys can accomplish and how far you guys travel. The Grand Rapids show is always one of my favorites to do with you guys because I don't have the stress of my own booth. I was gonna bring a booth this year, but I got a baby due the week before the show, so that one's kind of up in the air. I don't know
Yeah.
if I can be gone. Mama's gonna be going through that. I kind of got to be there and
No, I would
welcome this new
stay.
baby
I
boy to
would
the world.
stay
But
right there.
jeez,
You gotta stay because
jeez,
the minute you leave is when it's gonna happen. So you might as well stick around.
yeah. Yeah, and I ain't gonna miss that, bro. I ain't gonna miss that. I think you said it perfect. It's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice that you got to make, and like with you on the road, it's a sacrifice you got to make. But as your family continues to grow, and that little boy and that little girl get older, it's something you all can do together, and they can come to a couple of these shows and really see how special it would be. I think that's another step to this that would be really cool for both of us to experience, but especially you, get to take PJ to different parts of the country if you choose. I mean, obviously you got to work, but that kid can work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's gonna learn. He's gonna have to learn how to sell fishing poles because he's gonna come to the shows with me.
Stick him
So
with Jim.
we'll go to the show on Saturday and then do a wrestling tournament on Sunday. Something.
That's awesome.
So
That's awesome,
and
dude.
hopefully by the time he's in high school, he can run this ship, so I can go fishing and hunting. But we'll see. I know what it's like to be 14, 15, and I wasn't running nothing. I was running around being an idiot.
Yeah, running my mouth. That's about all I was running.
Yeah.
um, Hey, so while we're on the topic of shows, obviously show season coincides with winter, which means it's ice season. What is your most I know you have a bunch of ice rod options and we're gonna get into a lot of those, but what is your most popular ice rod and what would be like the best rod to get someone as a gift?
For sure, our power noodle. So it's a really good versatile rod. It is designed for pan fishing with lighter baits. So it's designed for small spoons and tungstens and stuff. And I feel like when you get around the country, pan fishing is probably the most popular because you don't always get ice to chase the bigger fish. Like Saginaw Bay walleye, last year we were super busy with walleye rods because they got ice. 2 years ago they didn't get ice, so we sold a lot more panfish rods. But a power noodle, it's been our best selling rod since we started this, and we do have it in 8 or 9 different colors. And that's a really good gift for somebody. And we did just come out with that jaw jacker rod a year ago, and that's been just insane how well that is selling. Like I would have never thought. I almost didn't even come out with it because I'm like, nobody's gonna get this or nobody wants this. Man, was I wrong again? Sometimes you gotta just
Dude,
try it.
yeah, you beat me to my next question because that was gonna be it. Out of all the rods that you make, the one that I can't wrap my head around is the jawjacker rod. And probably because I don't do any jawjacker fishing, but guys love this thing. It sells out every time it hits your site. And to like you kind of phrased it like, why would you want to spend that much money for a rod that sits on the ice? But it's probably because back to what we were talking about with the jigging, real fast hook set and a great backbone to hold that fish until you can get to that rod.
Yeah, and it is a lot more fun catching fish on a rod instead of like a tip up or hand lining it.
Yes.
And having a jaw jacker or automatic fisherman, it's way safer on the fish. You know, your fish isn't going to swallow it down to its gut, and then you got to pull it out or cut your line, and the fish isn't sitting there with a hook in its gut. So as soon as the fish bites, it sets the hook, and it's more ethical, I think. A lot less, casualties with the fish, and it's better for them, I think. And it is more fun to catch a fish on a rod over hand lining. So, no, even this year, it's been, man, we could barely keep it in stock. I can't even believe it. We're still weeks away from ice.
Oh yeah. Are you gonna be stocked up this year? Are you gonna have some at the show, or what are we thinking?
Yeah, I just got a few done for South Dakota, but we're selling like 3 to 5 every single day right now, which is crazy because it's not even close to season
Jeez.
yet. But yeah, we just put another 150 of them together starting today and yesterday, and we'll see. I know that Minnesota just legalized hook setting devices, and that's, I would say, 50 to 60% of our orders this year have been going to Minnesota. Because last year we didn't sell any there because hook
Hmm.
setting devices have been illegal in Minnesota for however long, forever, I think, and they just legalized it. So that's a huge deal. So I will need to bring at least 100 or 200 to the St. Paul show, and then every show they do
Yeah.
well. But I would assume the ones in Minnesota where they just legalized it, they're gonna really go off there. So I got to be prepared.
Yeah, that's Minnesota's a really big ice fishing market in general, so that might be hard to keep them in stock. So you guys, if you're looking for a jaw jacker rod, here's my shameless plug of the episode. If you're looking for a jaw jacker rod, you can get to that website that's down below in our comments and get one ordered, because I think once the lakes start to freeze, they might be hard to find.
Yeah, yeah, we have a lot of retailers asking us for them too, and there's only one retailer I sold some to. So I know they're gonna sell, so I'd
So
rather just sell them myself.
yeah. Yeah, and it's just too hard. Like, even with the, we kind of talked about it even with the 6.2s at one point there. It's like it's just so hard to keep a retailer stocked, plus do it yourself, plus deal with the shipping to the retailer. Cause like we were buying, I mean, this year we were buying 80 rods, I think, at a time. And it's like
Yeah.
trying to ship that many can just, it can be tough.
Well, I just bought some, I think 6 or 7 inch tubes now. I'm ready. I'm ready this year.
All right, dude.
Yeah, and I think they're 7.5 feet long. So chop a foot off of them, and I think they'll fit a lot. So, and I do feel more comfortable
Yeah.
shipping in a big tube over a box. It's just more durable, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than getting one of those boxes off the FedEx truck and seeing it's broke right there in the middle and saying, I didn't order any 2-piece rods.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
it
just had
happens
one of
too
those
often,
the other
buddy.
day. I can't believe how much it happens. It's like just it goes back to people not hating their job. You know, they don't care, and that's what you get.
Yeah,
That's the
nobody's
kind of
held
work you get.
accountable.
Yep. And yeah,
Nobody's
that's the
held
kind of work
accountable.
you get when you don't care.
Well, Pat, I got one more big question I want to ask you, brother. I know you got to get ready for this show. I know you got a Facebook Live tomorrow. Well, when this podcast drops, it'll already be happened. But it's already getting kind of late tonight with everything, and the biggest thing that I wanted to ask you, and I'm most interested for your answer, because we have a lot of conversations outside of work when we're at the show. We talk a lot about life and all that sort of stuff. Um, what is like the legacy that you want to leave behind for Mags Custom Rods and in this fishing industry?
Um, I just want to build such a solid company to where the name 50 years from now is going to be like, oh yeah, I got one, or like, oh yeah, they make good stuff. Um, hopefully it keeps rolling when I kick the bucket. Uh, like you hope I'm the ultimate dream would be, my kids obviously keep the name rolling, but you never know, they might not even like fishing. But maybe if I surround them with it, they'll like it. But yeah,
Yep.
that's kind of, I don't know. I take big pride in what customers think of us. And obviously, there's always going to be those people that you just can't make happy. And those aren't the customers I want anyway. I want true fishermen. And, we've been doing this for 8 years and we still have, 4.9 or 5-star rating on Google. And that's tough, man. The community is super
Yeah.
tough. And if there's one thing they don't like, the whole world is going to know. But you don't get that same kind of feedback when somebody likes your product. They're like, oh yeah, it's a nice product. But if somebody doesn't like it or if they're having an issue with it, they're gonna blast it so loud all over social media and all over the fishing platforms to where it's like unnecessary. You could just kind of like, yeah, it's not very good. But so it takes a lifetime to build a good solid name, and you can lose it all real quick. And that's the fishing
Mm-hmm.
industry is extremely cutthroat. Like people will just they just like get off on like dogging companies. And I just do
Yeah.
everything in my power to not be that company and do the best job that I can. And nobody's perfect. And yeah, so I try to do the best job that I can. And I try to keep our prices affordable. Like, there's I feel like we're very well priced. Our uh, we're competitive, and I'd rather make less and sell more instead of make more and sell less. That's just the way that my brain works, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's worked out so far. But never satisfied. I always want to keep grinding and see what else we could do the next day, or see what changes we can make to make things better. And hopefully, in 50 years, whoever has it is to you know, can see this and be like, I grinded this from nothing and I built it from nothing and I built a great name and I want whoever gets it better keep it that way. Otherwise, shut the doors because I don't want my
Yeah.
name out there with people are saying, oh, that's all right or it's mediocre or it sucks. If it ain't good, I don't want it out there.
No. No, and you mentioned price. That's one thing that like I greatly appreciate. But Mags Custom Rods is the only company that has gone down in price since we've started selling in 2021. And especially like this year coming up, I've seen a lot of emails from a lot of companies, from baits to components to rods to reels to whatever, about price increases and tariffs and this, that, and another. And every time in our conversations that this stuff comes up, you're always like, I want to keep my price competitive and I want to keep it affordable for people. Like, I don't want to make a product that people can't buy because they're spending their hard earned money. I mean, these people work for a living, dude. And I think that's like a huge testament to your company, is like the price has stayed the same. And as we look into 2026, it looks like it's going to be staying about the same again. And it's been incredible what you guys have been able to do.
Yeah, and I am getting pricing, and I have been getting price increases. I just try to be a little bit more efficient at how I'm building them and just trying to make it more efficient to make up for the price increases that I'm getting. And there will be a time where I do have to go up a little bit, but my whole goal is for the average fisherman to be able to get these. And we're seeing a lot of that now, a lot of first time fishermen, a lot of just weekend guys, and but we're also selling to the really serious tournament fishermen too. But now like our we're $200, you're some of the really used to be cheap rods are almost that now. And honestly, the quality,
Yeah.
it's not even in the same universe on some of those rods that are pushing that 150 now, 160. And so it does leave a window for us, a little gap for us to fill. Yeah, we're not going to get everyone's business, and I don't want everyone's business. I just need the right business and the right people, and that's all I need. I don't need a huge giant business. I'm really happy with the size we're at right now. And if we stay that size forever, that's cool with me, you know. But I know we're gonna keep growing a little bit, but I like to grow at my rate. That's why I'm not huge in retail. I work with you in a couple different retailers, but I've probably turned down 5 retailers in the last couple months, and that's just if the right one comes along, maybe, but I don't like to be super dependent on other people to sell my stuff because, like, not last year, 2 years ago, you depend on all these paychecks to come in and you have a winter that's non-existent, then that paycheck that you've been banking on all year is not there. You can get yourself in some trouble. So if I can't afford it, I don't
Yeah.
buy it, and I sell direct, so I kind of have an idea of what's going on. So yeah, I'm not going to grow it into a $100 million company overnight, but slowly but surely we'll keep growing, and I'm super happy with the way it's going.
Yeah, it's been awesome, man. Like I said, it's been really cool to watch. It's been an absolute honor to be one of the retailers that have you in our store. Your rods have been our best selling rods for 2 years. And for those of you guys that want to check out Pat's rods, please, I encourage you to come into the store, come into Hook One Bait and Tackle. You can see we've got a bunch of different options of his rods. I believe right now at the moment we have the 6.2 vertical jigging, the 5.10 vertical jigging. We've got those also in a bait caster model. We've got the 7.2 medium fast. We've got the 6.10 medium light extra fast. We've got the 7.2 medium light fast. I highly encourage you to at least check them out. Even if you're not going to buy them, put them in your hands. Pat, we're going to get out of here, dude. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to these people before we sign off, to the listeners and all of your supporters as well?
Oh, I don't got too much. Look forward to seeing everyone at the shows this year. Look forward to seeing you and your crew down there, eating some good food, having some
Yeah.
good times, making a little bit of money, and yeah, hopefully some of the people will come out to the shows, hang out, BS, talk fishing, and we'll be there hanging out.
Yeah, man. I can't wait. We're going to eat some tacos. We're going to sell some baits, sell some rods. We're going to have a great time. Guys, for those of you listening, I appreciate the support. I apologize that the podcasts have not been as regular, but it's been crazy around here. So I got to make sure, obviously, we take care of the family and take care of that stuff first. I appreciate the support. Again, here's the discount code for anything that you guys want to save on. Please support who's supporting us. You want to get one of these sweet hoodies from Whitewater with the nice little mask in them? Come on down to the store, check them out. We've got them in all 3 colors. Whitewater's been a really good supporter of the program. Pat, I appreciate your time so much, man. I'm looking forward to it. We'll probably have to rip another podcast with you guys at the show. But until I see you
Yeah.
guys next time, hold up. If you want to check out Pat's website, again, head down below. It's going to be in the description below. It's www.magscustomrods.com. You can find it below. Please smash that subscribe button and let your friends know that there's an awesome podcast on the Great Lakes, and it's the Hook One Pod. We'll see you next week. Adios.